you're all having a wonderful day and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I thought it'd be really fun to do like a new year fresh start, new year fresh makeup look, and that's what I did. I wanted to do something that was more glowy, hydrating, fresh looking, so not like a ton of eyeshadow, just more minimalistic except for the brows. I went a little heavy with brows. We'll get to that. But overall, I wanted something more fresh for the fresh new year, and honestly, I haven't played with makeup in a while, and it was just really fun to put some makeup on because I have not been wearing makeup out of the house recently, and I really just need an excuse to wear makeup. So I hope you guys are excited for this tutorial, and let's jump into it. So for starters, I went ahead and did my skincare off camera. If you guys are interested in a skincare video, let me know. I've had thoughts about doing it before. I just feel like everyone's skincare routine is so individualized for them, and it really depends on what your skin type is like, what you're needing, your age. I mean, so many different things. So that's why I haven't done it, but if you guys are interested, I will let you know because I feel like skincare is so important. But for starters, I already applied this earlier. I'm going to do it again. This is the Patrick Ta lip mask. It is so dry here in Seattle, especially going out. We've been skiing a lot this year already. Going out in the mountains, it's super dry. My lips always get really dry and cracked. So I feel like having a mask or a balm or anything like that at this time of year is really important. And also I put it on first because that way it has time to sink into my lips before going on my lipstick, which is typically like the last step in my makeup routine. So kind of like, you know, my base, my primer, I do like all my skincare primers, that sort of thing at the very beginning, and it allows it time to sink in. So I actually did my skincare about an hour ago and really gave it some time to just soak into my skin. Next, I'm going in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I heard a lot of great things about this. So I wanted to try it because I know a lot of makeup artists really love this primer. I'm still not totally sure how I feel about it. I'm not totally sold on it. I really love the primer from Hourglass, the Mineral Veil Primer. I feel like that has worked the best on me and my skin type, and I've used that for many, many years and loved it. But I've been trying this recently, and it's okay, it's not bad. I just feel like maybe I haven't tried it enough, but it's supposed to basically act as like a really nice base and almost like glue so that your makeup will stick on top of it better. I did just receive this in PR from Urban Decay, and I haven't tried it yet, so I thought, you know, I'd try it today. Going along with the theme of like a fresh look, I do feel like BB creams are definitely more in that range. And I've been wearing, you know, less makeup recently just because we haven't really been going anywhere. And if we do, it's probably skiing or somewhere where I'm wearing a mask anyways, like fully, like goggles, mask, like you won't see my face. So it's rare that I actually wear makeup outside the house nowadays. But this is their new Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. It's medium coverage up to 24-hour wear. And it also has a kombucha filtrate and marula oil. And I think somewhere it said, maybe it was in the pamphlet, it said the most maniac glow meets the most insanely long-lasting coverage of the crazy combo of free radicals and nourishing oils to hydrate and detoxify, which is great because I feel like my skin is always dry, and especially so in the wintertime. So they have it in 12 different shades here, and apparently it boosts skin's natural hydration up to 30%. So not sponsored, but they did just send this to me in PR, and I thought it would fit in well with the tutorial, and I hope this works with my skin color. I think it should. This is the shade Light 30. So this is what it looks like. Looks like, honestly, the packaging is very similar to most like BB creams, CC creams. Ooh, this kind of reminds me of the one from MAC. And then taking my Sigma, this is the Kabuki 3D HD brush. This is like one of my favorite foundation brushes. And I'm going to first actually apply that directly onto my face. Oh yeah, this is a great match. We'll start with that. I know that like using a brush, it does pick up some of the foundation and stuff, so kind of expecting that to happen. Oh yeah, I'd say this is more of a medium coverage. Not too bad though. I have picked up some nice acne scarring from wearing masks, but I have also learned, you know, what skincare works for me, and that helps to resolve that a little bit, which is good knowledge to have gained. But that's been a new challenge that I haven't really experienced a ton in the past, but it's been great. I could do that in the skincare video too, is talk about stuff that I've been using, because I did try quite a few products to figure out what would work, and a lot of things did not really do a whole lot to fix the acne and the acne scarring. but it has started to go away. I even have some pictures and stuff I took in September when it was really bad. And it wasn't even that bad, it was just bad for me, as I've never really experienced that a lot in my life. And I just honestly didn't know what to do. So I really had to play around and figure out what worked and what didn't pretty fast. But overall, liking the coverage of this. I don't even know, maybe this is something you're supposed to blend in with your hands and not with a brush. Because I think typically like BB creams, even though they're not claiming it as a BB cream, I would compare it as a BB cream or CC cream when it comes to like texture, but they're not really comparing that. So let me try. Oh, I should apply this with a sponge. It does feel pretty thick, but I also did have a lot of skincare on beforehand, so that might also be impacting. But yeah, definitely more of a medium coverage because you can still see some of my acne scarring discoloration underneath. But I do like how hydrated I look. I will go on afterwards with the powder just to set it, just because I feel like I'm in the habit of doing that and I have a hard time applying powders like bronzers and blushes after applying a liquid and not setting it. But this is something that if you did have some areas that you wanted to cover up more, you probably would still go in with a concealer, and that's probably what I'm going to do as well. After that, I am using the Stay Naked concealer. I've used this concealer for quite a while now. It has been a favorite of mine for, I'd say, years. I think I originally discovered it in a Jaclyn Hill favorites video, and then she switched over to the, Tarte Shape Tape. Everyone loved the Tarte Shape Tape when it came out, and that came out after this. And everyone, I feel like, went over to that one. And I just didn't really love it as much as I do with this one. And this one's been my favorite for a while and I haven't changed it. And honestly, even if I'm going out, like to get groceries, I have not been wearing makeup. I've just been doing like my brows, because my brows have been looking sparse lately. So I've been just kind of doing my brows, but this is more of like, I don't know, I'm feeling like wearing more makeup. But still, I feel like this is definitely gonna be more of like a fresh look. I feel like for 2021, people are gonna be they might be wearing like more makeup just because they have an excuse to go out once everything's getting closer to being back to normal, or they might just be like, you know what? I don't have time for this anymore. I'm gonna wear like the least amount of makeup possible and just look super fresh. And honestly, this is what I've been veering more towards recently, is more of like a fresh look. And I will say this is not necessarily, well, it's not, I would say, a mask makeup look. I can do a look if you guys are interested too on like what kind of makeup I will do if I'm wearing a mask. I basically won't put a ton of products in this area because it won't either be seen or it will just kind of get messed up. And I've had a little bit of practice doing that, and I feel like I've kind of figured out what to do and what not to do. So if you guys are interested in that, I feel like by this point everyone's probably figured out what works for them. Or you're just like me, and if you are going out, you probably aren't wearing a ton of makeup. But just patting this in, I could have used a beauty sponge. But I feel like in some ways, honestly, I've used my hands more. And I feel like it's been really nice, like warming up the products, and I feel like it blends it into the skin better in some ways. I will say these two products, I mean, obviously it's in the same Urban Decay family, but these two products lay on each other so well. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Filtered Effects Powder. I will use this to bake. I will use this to lightly set my face. I am missing the little like cushion that goes in here to prevent you from getting a ton of product. So I'll just lightly tap into that, pick up some product, and then blend it out on the lid and just kind of tap off some of that excess product before going in, and I will just kind of lightly dust that all over my face. But it's nice because you can still see some of the shine and the glow from the foundation underneath. I'm looking pretty blank, so I'm going to go in next with my Hoola Light bronzer. This is like the perfect shade for me when I am this fair during the winter time. It looks like it's pretty much my skin shade, but as you guys will see as I put it on, I'm actually going to use this brush. This is the Sephora Pro Coverage Airbrush number 53 brush. And I'm just going to rub that in, hit pan on it. Clearly I love it. And just kind of brush that onto my cheeks, my forehead. But you can see just applying a little bit of it, it adds a really nice, natural, subtle contour. Again, a lot of this works because I am so fair. So if you are similar in shade to me, this will work for you as well. But I feel like sometimes bronzers are too orange if you go on with them like right away. And this acts as a really nice base for my bronzer. So if I do want to do a little bit more and add like a contour, I can. Or if I'm in a rush, I will just pop on this bronzer and use it by itself. And most days, honestly, I'm not looking for a really intense contour. So I feel like this really does a nice job of giving some more depth to my face without being super intense. And I also feel like this is a step and a product that you can use if you have little to no experience. You could literally just throw it on. I'm kind of concentrating right in like the high points of my cheeks, underneath my jawline, just to kind of add some shape back to my face. Right around my ear area. But I'm not being super precise with this. I'm being pretty sloppy. Because again, we're going for a more like natural look, but I just want to add a little bit more color. So add some depth back to the face. I will take a little bit of that too and run it down my nose. I don't do like a really intense nose contour. I just kind of like to, again, as I've been saying, add some more depth and just make it so that my face has a little bit more going on than just that foundation shade. So since we are keeping this look pretty fresh, I say in person, this is as much as I would do. On camera, I'm sure it doesn't look that intense or that dramatic, but I am going for more of a fresh, natural, everyday look that you'd want to wear in person rather than like being camera ready. Next, I am taking the Patrick Ta blush. This is in the shade She's Seductive. What I really love about a couple of his blushes is that they kind of look like bronzers. They look like they're not gonna have a whole lot of color, but the color they do have is really natural and just very subtle. And it looks like a blush that like if I was blushing, you know, I'm not great today with the descriptions, but some blushes are really intense and super pigmented and they don't look super natural, but I really love how natural his blushes look. So this is more of like a pink blush. But again, it doesn't look like it's gonna be pink when you see it in the pan, but when you pop it on, it adds a really nice color. So I'm just kind of keeping that right on the high points of my cheeks and blending it out. Also, blush is one of those things that I feel like fades the fastest, especially on me. So I always apply a little bit more generously in the beginning, knowing that it's going to fade throughout the day. And if your blush ever gets too intense or you're a little bit too heavy-handed with it, what you can do is take the same brush that you used for either bronzer or the same brush you used for foundation and use that to just kind of blend that out, and it kind of diffuses the blush a little bit for you. So my brows today, I would do less, but because I don't really have any eyebrows, I'm going to be doing a couple more steps than you guys will probably want to be doing, but I will be explaining why and how I do that. First I'm going to do is take the Patrick Ta Brow Wax, and I'm really glad I watched his masterclass because this is one of those products that I saw in the store and I was like, I have no idea how to use this. I completely used it wrong the first time I did. What you want to do is get it wet, so I'm taking the MAC. This is their Fix Plus, just the regular one, and I'm spraying that a little bit just to kind of activate it. And then I'm going in with a brow brush. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills 7B, taking the spoolie side and just kind of rubbing it in the wax like that. Also, this is one of those products that I feel like I would never have gotten because I would have thought that like that's not gonna do anything on me because I don't have eyebrows. But surprisingly, it acts as like a really nice primer or base for the rest of the products, which is why I do it more so than like trying to give that laminated brow look. Just rubbing that through my brows, or lack thereof, where my brows should be. And it does kind of lay them down a little bit. And if you are using something like this, and you have more eyebrows than me, which you likely do, you probably will see more happening than you are right now. But what I'm doing is just kind of flattening the brows and smoothing them out. So in the front, I'm flicking upwards to the side, in the middle, and then down towards the back half of my brow. Afterwards, I'm going in with my Benefit Cosmetics Foolproof Eyebrow Powder, and this is in the shade 5. I really love, I mentioned this before, how it's shaped because I feel like it's really easy to see like how to use it and where to put the colors. So I'm picking up the lighter shade in the front half and putting that through the front half of my brows. The first thing I will do though is I will actually flick it upwards. So you guys can see it's not normally this pigmented, but because we put down the wax, it's acting as like a glue, and it's really making that powder really pigmented. So just kind of lightly filling in my brows. Again, this might be more than what you would do, but the goal is to make, for me at least, to make my brows look natural. And you might, if you do have brow hair, just do this one step and not even need to put on the wax. You could just do eyebrow powder or maybe just a little bit of a pencil to fill in your brows. But I'm really just using this powder to kind of stencil out my brows, lightly fill them in. We will be using some more products. Once that brow is where I like it, I'm going to take the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pen. This is in the shade Ebony. I will say this brow is a little more intense than what I was planning for, but sometimes that just happens when you are lacking eyebrows. And I'm going to take this pen, and honestly, this is more or less why I like using the wax first, because I feel like it makes the strokes with pens like these so much more fine and precise, and I feel like it looks a lot more realistic. So I'm first taking this pen, and I will do a couple practice strokes in the middle. That way, once I get the hang of it, I will do some more detailed strokes in the front part that will be much more obvious if you kind of mess those up. So just taking that and kind of going up into the side and the middle part, that, and then the front part, I will just take this and go straight up. I'm gonna take the shade Granite. I have the shade as well. I feel like this is a very fresh makeup look, and then my brows are super intense. Whoopsie, sorry. You know what? I'm gonna try something different on the other brow. Oh, there we go. Might try less of the first step on the other brow. And if you do go a little bit too heavy-handed, I always, while it's still wet, I will kind of press down and pick up some of that pigment. Another thing I like to do too to make it look more natural is I will do a couple strokes outside of the lines, because your brows naturally aren't in a perfect shape, and I feel like this helps to make them look more unkempt and natural. Okay, so I went much lighter on the brows, so I want to come back and show you guys this again with a little bit lighter on the powder side. So I feel like this is as much as you should do. Again, I got carried away, a little heavy-handed, but this is as much as I would typically like to do with the powder, knowing that I'm going to add on with the brow pen. So going in with the shade Granite, not Ebony, because I feel like Ebony wasn't really showing up. So I'm going to use the shade Granite instead. And again, just starting in the middle and doing some practice strokes in the midsection, and then flicking upwards in the front. This is always my more challenging side, I feel like, because of the way I have to do it, because I'm right-handed, whereas this side's easier and this side's like, to like contort my body. And if you're just starting to use a brow pen or something like that, I would recommend like taking your time with it. I feel like I've been a lot quicker and more sloppy with it recently, just because, you know, not a lot of people are seeing me. I just want it to look like I have brows. But I feel like if you really spend a lot of time on this, it can look really natural. But I love this technique of layering different brow products, because I feel like it really adds a lot of depth to your face, similar to like if you were to walk out of the house just wearing foundation and a powder and not wearing any bronzer or blush, it's going to look a little bit more flat. And same with your brows. I feel like if you just apply pencil or just apply brow powder, it might look a little bit flat if you are lacking brow hair. And so what I need to do, because I am lacking some brow hair, is I need to add it back in using like a brow pen. But I feel like having that depth of color and having that lighter color first and then going on with the darker color adds that depth that makes it look a lot more realistic. And doing the same technique on this side, where I have some of the strokes coming outside the lines to make it look more natural. As you can see, now that I've made some adjustments, much happier with this side than this side. I feel like this side looks a lot more natural and it looks a lot lighter, and this is more the look I was going for. So what I would recommend doing is going lighter than you would like with the powder as a base, and then using the pen to add in some of those strokes, and I feel like that creates a much more natural looking brow. So after that, I'm gonna move on to some eyeshadow. I am using the Baked Browns palette today from A Dose of Colors. I got this recently. They were having a sale and it was really cheap. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick this up. But I do feel like a lot of brands have shadows very similar to these. And this is honestly what I will wear on a day-to-day. I'll use colors kind of like these. Maybe like these three here, maybe a pop of darker brown, but in like the liner area, but mainly like these two colors is what I use day to day if I'm just trying to throw on a little bit of makeup, making myself look a little bit more put together. And going in with the Sephora Pro 27 brush, this is like one of my favorite blending brushes, picking up that lighter shade and just kind of running that along as like a base shadow, running that up by my brow bone, all over the lid, I did not use a primer today for my eyelids. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But I feel like if I'm just kind of, you know, doing a quick makeup look, I won't. If I've been doing something more detailed, I will. And then going in with this lighter brown shade. It's more of a warm tone shade. Dusting off a little bit of that and just popping that right into the crease area. And then when there's less pigment on the brush, I'll start to blend that out. But really keeping that towards the upper outer portion of my eye. But also being kind of sloppy with this because I'm not adding on a ton of shadows. I'm mainly just doing those two and popping on a shadow close to my lashes just to make them pop a little bit more. And I will pick up a little bit more of that lighter shade just to help blend that out. What I'll do next is take the same eyebrow brush and dip into that darkest shade here. And just pat that in right along my lash line. And there is a little bit of fallout. That's okay. Because I feel like this just really makes your eyes pop more and just brings the focus to the eyes. And I really like using shadows. I feel like they're easier to use for eyeliner than like actual eyeliner pencils are sometimes. So if you do struggle with applying a liner, try using a shadow. It might be easier to move around. All right, and the next thing I'm really excited to do is I'm just going to apply some mascara. I'm not putting on any false lashes for this video because I do have itty bitty baby lashes that are starting to grow in, and I'm finally at the point where I can put on some mascara. So it's not gonna seem like much, but they're there, and so I wanna use them because I have them. So I'm going to curl my lashes first with the Thrive Cosmetics Lash Curler. And then taking the Thrive Cosmetics, this is their Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara, and the brown shade, this is the shade Crystal, it's brown black, but it's a little bit more natural than just a dark black mascara, which I typically go for, but if you wanted a more natural look, I'd say typically brown mascaras are a little bit more natural looking. And I'm just going to apply this to my itty bitty baby lashes. And I'm looking down at a mirror because that helps me widen my lid space, so that the chances of my wet lashes hitting my lid and ruining my eyeshadow are much less likely. I also really love this mascara. I feel like it lengthens your lashes in a way I haven't seen other mascaras do, and I know they've won a lot of awards for their mascara. And honestly, when I have like friends or family ask me for recommendations like for mascara, I always recommend this one. I'm not putting on any mascara to my bottom lashes today, only because I feel like it's gonna make it more obvious how little eyelashes I have on my upper lids. I wanna keep the focus there and not divert it, so I'm going to not put on bottom mascara, but the last thing I'm going to do is pop on some lipstick. This is the Wedding Day Matte Lipstick from Huda Beauty, but use whatever lipstick shade you like. You can do something more natural. Honestly, you could just do like the lip mask and keep it as is, but I'm just gonna pop on a slight amount of this. Even though this is more of a matte lipstick, I feel like having the hydrating mask on underneath it makes it look like a regular cream lipstick instead of a matte lipstick, which also helps with the, you know, fresher makeup look. But this is probably as dark of a lipstick I would go. Honestly, most of the time I don't even wear lipstick nowadays because I just throw on a mask afterwards. So up to you if you want to do a lipstick or not. If I was wearing a mask or if I was gonna leave the house, I probably wouldn't put this on, but just for the sake of the video, I'm putting on a lipstick. But honestly, I think that's it. I think we're all, oh no. Haha, close. I'm gonna throw on a little bit of the Patrick Ta. This is their face mask, Major Glow. This was their holiday release. I don't know if they still have it or not, but a little bit of this goes a really long ways. And I'm just going to take, there is a little bit of this on the lid. I'm picking this up with a Sephora. This is part of their Featherweight collection. It's a 93 brush. Again, I think they discontinued this collection because it was a couple years old. But just picking up the smallest amount on like a really fluffy brush. And I'm just going to lightly, like ever so lightly, tap that on my face, and I'll do that on the other side too. Like a little bit of this stuff goes the longest ways down my nose as well. Just to add back some of that hydration. I do like setting my makeup so it doesn't move because I do see some creasing throughout the day, but this helps add some of that glow back, and I feel like this looks so pretty in person and in photos too. Sometimes with highlighters, I feel like it looks a little dusty, especially because my skin is drier, but I feel like with this, it looks really natural and looks extremely fresh, which is what we're going for in this tutorial. So this is what it looks like all together if you were to go out and do something, which none of us are probably right now, but let's just imagine in a perfect world, you know, January, you'd be out, you know, socializing, hanging with friends, looking nice. This is what I would look like. But yeah, most of the time I just wear sweats and a sweatshirt. So that's where we're at for 2021. But you know what, I hope, and I have aspirations with this look and everything, that one day this year I will be looking like this to go out and hang out with friends, and I'm looking very much so forward to that day. So thank you guys so much for watching this New Year's fresh makeup tutorial. I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Honestly, it was fun just to have an excuse to put on makeup again because I haven't been wearing anything. I've been wearing like literally skincare, and that's about it if I do leave the house to go to the grocery store or something. But yeah, haven't been wearing a lot of makeup, and it was just really fun to do makeup again because I really love it, and it's just kind of my way of de-stressing, and I can just relax and do it, and it's just really fun for me. So I'm really glad that there's some of you guys that enjoy doing it and maybe learn something here and there while you're watching my videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.